Hi, it's Craig with the Montana Real Estate Channel. We're here in rural Ravalli County, Montana, the Bitterroot Valley. We've got the beautiful Bitterroot Mountains in the background that you can see there. It's a beautiful day, 1st of March. And we're going to go take a little tour down through the valley and talk a little bit about water in Ravalli County. And that's been a big issue, particularly here of late. In fact, there was a large gathering in Helena yesterday at the Capitol talking about water issues, and we happened to be there. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. You know, we're here all about real estate in Montana, here on the Montana Real Estate Channel. And we love to be a resource for you. All sorts of information on this channel. You've got a number of videos about communities across Montana, from Whitefish to Bozeman, from Great Falls to Hamilton. So we encourage you to take a look at some of our other videos. This is going to be a fairly short one today as we travel down the valley on this beautiful day. And all the information that you need in order to get a hold of us is in the description down below. So we're in the Burnt Fork Valley. We're going to go ahead and head down what's known as East Side Highway, take some video and talk a little bit about the valley and specifically water. So I hope you enjoy this video on the Montana Real Estate Channel. Today we're going to talk about water, specifically groundwater in the Bitterroot Valley. The Bitterroot Valley has a relatively shallow, unconfined aquifer, and it's created by this fault system that you see here that goes down the west side of the valley and created this uplift, which creates these beautiful Bitterroot Valley mountains that we see here. And you can see that going towards the south end of the valley. And in these mountains, in this uplift, are some cirque lakes that have been glaciated. But when this fault system came up, what happened is that it created a hole. What it did was it threw the entire mountain, I guess if you will, over onto the east side, which we're looking at here from East Side Highway, and that's called the Sapphire Block. And it created just an enormous hole that was then later filled in with glacial deposit. Now, these glacial deposits were completely covered by a massive body of water known as Glacial Lake Missoula. And you can see here in this picture the Bitterroot Valley completely underwater, and all of this water is percolating down through the sediment. This glacial fill is estimated to be anywhere between 600 and 4,000 feet, depending on where you're at in the valley. Therefore, this creates an enormous aquifer, and people are quite concerned that we're running out of water. Well, let's talk about some of the numbers regarding water in the Bitterroot Aquifer. According to a hydrologist at the Montana Bureau of Mines and Geology, the upper Bitterroot Aquifer holds approximately 628 billion gallons of water. Human withdrawals amount to roughly 4.6 billion gallons, which some returns to the aquifer, and 1.6 billion is consumed by humans. The annual recharge is 18 billion gallons of water. Now, there's no evidence that wells in the basin or valley floor will show drawdowns due to use of adjoining wells. However, when you get up on the benches or in the near mountains on either side of the valley, your aquifer will be fractured rock, typically granite. It is very poor aquifer. Drawdowns can be experienced in these situations. In many west side wells, and even up by the Sapphires, you can get water that are very low producers, sometimes on the order of a gallon a minute. And so you want to install a storage tank or cistern. There are also areas of the valley that have unwanted dissolved solids, such as arsenic. These are generally confined to the Willow Creek drainage, Corvallis Hills area, and a few in the Scout Hole. The bottom line is the Bitterroot has a massive amount of water, in the main valley floor, and it's not being depleted. Yet there are chicken littles running around suggesting that we need to stop drilling wells in the Bitterroot Valley. And in fact, I mentioned in the legislature at the top of the video. Now, there were a group of us who went to protest a bill that would have closed the Bitterroot Valley to new wells. Now, that's utterly absurd when you have as much groundwater as we have. Here, we're passing the old water supply location for the town of Stevensville. It was a surface water from the Burnt Fork drainage that was treated for human consumption. In the springtime, back in the 60s and 70s, the water coming out of your tap at your home was light brown color and had the smell of chlorinated barnyard, if you get the idea. Today, the town of Stevensville has a well field to supply its citizens with water, but they've had problems acquiring the necessary water rights to access it, despite hundreds of billions of gallons of water below them. So, Montana has always been a place for interesting things regarding water, and we will catch up later on surface water, but let it be known that the Bitterroot Valley has tons of groundwater. Well, we hope you enjoyed that video on aquifers and water in the Bitterroot Valley. We're here outside of Hamilton at the estate of Daly, Marcus Daly, who was one of the Copper Kings. You'll want to check out all of our videos on the Montana Real Estate channel, brought to you by Siphers Family Real Estate. We've got videos on the Daly Mansion itself with a little tour. We've got information about Anaconda, Montana, homes, price points, also on Butte, Montana. We want to be a resource for you, and all the information in order to get a hold of us is in the description below. So be sure to tap that logo on the lower right hand part of your screen so that you're notified whenever we come out with a new video on Montana Real Estate. See you next time.